Hello students, and welcome to our emergency descent execution video. Before we jump into the cockpit, let's quickly discuss the objective of this maneuver and some key factors that we'll be focusing on. The objective of an emergency descent is to descend as rapidly as possible to a lower altitude or to the ground for an emergency or to perform an emergency landing. The types of situations that could lead to these types of descents include things such as hypoxia, medical emergencies, mechanical failures, and a whole bunch of other things, etc., I guess you could say. In this maneuver execution video, we will not be covering detailed aerodynamics, maneuver diagrams, common student errors, or the ACS standards. This video is to simply explain and demonstrate the execution of the maneuver and will vary based on the aircraft you are flying. To see all of the additional details we just mentioned and to study this lesson's full-length presentation, podcast, diagrams, flashcards, lesson quiz, and a whole bunch more, look up the emergency descent lesson on our website at wificfi.com. Lastly, before we jump into the cockpit, there are a couple key factors that we need to cover regarding this maneuver. When we head out to our airplane, we're going to start the video in the practice area. Okay, so we will be climbed up to a safe altitude to perform the maneuver. We're going to begin at about 4,000 feet AGL so that we can complete the entire maneuver at about 1,500 feet AGL. Okay, so we're going to be going from 4,000 feet AGL down to 1,500 feet AGL, and we'll stay above that 1,500 the entire time. When we start, we're going to be in the cruise configuration, and we will perform our clearing turns, either one to the left, one to the right, or just one full 180 to look for traffic in the area. At which point, we're going to go ahead and simulate the emergency, whatever it may be. Like we said, the hypoxia, medical emergency, mechanical failure, whatever it may be. And we're going to reduce our throttle smoothly to idle, extend our landing gear, if applicable. Now we're in a Cessna 172 here, so we don't have extendable and retractable landing gear. But if you did, then you would extend your landing gear here. You would close your cowl flaps if you had cowl flaps so you don't shock cool the engine of your aircraft. You're going to increase your prop lever to full if you have a blue prop lever, a constant speed prop, and you will establish your rapid descent airspeed. In today's example, we will establish a descent at 120 knots. We will also be completing the descent in a 30-degree turn to the left or right. I think we'll probably do it to the left today to look for traffic below us and to maintain a positive G load on the airplane. We don't want any negative G's on the airplane, okay? Having that bank in will keep positive G's on the aircraft throughout the maneuver. We'll continue this descent until we're about 100 to 200 feet above our new target altitude, at which point we will begin the level out process. Okay, the level out process, we're going to begin that by gently increasing back pressure on the yoke to raise the nose of the aircraft. We'll retract our landing gear, and then we'll go ahead and smoothly increase our throttle so that we can remain level at that new target altitude. Once we are in straight and level flight at the new altitude, we'll reconfigure the airplane for our cruise flight. So I think that's about it. It's a quick, pretty simple, basic maneuver, but let's head over to the airplane and show you guys how it works. Alright students, we are here at our airplane about to do our emergency descent procedure. So let's go ahead and kind of show you how we've got the airplane set up. Before we do it, we'll do our clearing turns and then we'll hop into it. Like I said, it's pretty short, pretty easy maneuver. So first thing we're going to do is our clearing turns. I think I'm going to give us let's do a left 180. We'll do a left 180 for our clearing turn. So come around to heading 300. As we're going, you can see that we're in the practice area here. Okay, we are looking for traffic as we're making our clearing turns, and we are at 4,000 feet above the ground, as you can see on our altitude tape. So we're at 4,000 feet. We're up here. We are looking to see any traffic in the area. Thinking it's all looking pretty good. So again, there's many different reasons for this maneuver, and we cover that in a completely separate video, which you can look up on Wi-Fi CFI. Alright, what we're going to do here is we're just going to explain the execution of it. Maybe somebody's having hypoxia or a medical emergency or something like that. So we are going to make a descent, and actually we'll go ahead and bug it just so we can see it, but we're going to make a descent all the way down to that 1500 AGL, okay, where we want to complete the maneuver above that. So we've gone ahead and bugged that 1500. After I kick off our autopilot, we're going to start our descent. I'm going to bring my throttle back to idle. We're going to start our descent for about 120 knots, and we'll do it in a left banked turn so that we can maintain those positive G loads on the airplane. So let's go ahead and kick off our autopilot, retrim the aircraft. Always got to retrim after we kick off the autopilot. Awesome, and here we are. So we're going to go ahead, bring our throttle nice and smoothly back to idle, and we're going to trim down to get a descent at that 120. So it's going to be quite a nose down pitch, and we're going to maintain the positive G's on our aircraft here. So there's our 120, so we're looking for about here. We've got our left bank in to maintain our positive G's. We're looking down below us for traffic, keeping an eye on our altitude and our airspeed as we make this rapid descent here. And remember, once we get about 200 feet above our target altitude, so about 1700 feet, I'm gently going to start to bring the nose back for that level out, and then once we kind of start to slow down, I'm going to increase our throttle setting, and then we'll retrim the aircraft and we reconfigure it for that cruise flight. So we've got about 600 feet to go to get to that 1700 feet. 200 feet before we start our level out. Looking down here, okay, there's 1700. So gently, I'm just going to gently start to bring the nose up. Nothing crazy wild, just nice and gentle. And then I'm adding in some power so that we can stay here at our 1500 feet. And hey, we'll just go back to the same heading we started the maneuver on. How about that? So we got our power back up now. We're back on the heading we started on. Now that's not a requirement, but that's just how it ended up being. 1500 feet, back on our heading. Airspeed's good because we got our power back up. We can retrim for cruise. You can reset your cow flaps, bring your gear up, all that different kind of stuff, which you would have already brought your gear up if you had retractable landing gear. We don't, so that's why we didn't talk about it here. But other than that, that's it, guys. Piece of cake. That is our emergency descent here in beautiful Alaska. So thanks for joining us on this simple, easy lesson, guys, and we will see you on the next one soon.